So it's a very important function that we will be using inside Premiere Pro to remove the green screen, which is called as Ultra Key. Okay, so let's see where that function can be accessed from first of all. So remember this window, which has our source files, it has this particular arrow here, just like we saw the arrow here, okay? And here you have to go under this option which says Effects. And here you can just type in the search bar. You can even go to Video Effects is there, but it's easier to just search because there are a lot of effects. So just type in Ultra, okay? And then you're going to see that's going to show you Ultra Key under the Video Effects folder under Keying Ultra Key. And all we need to do is just drag it on this video. So now under the properties on the top window, these are the properties of this video. We'll be able to see. So anytime you do something, it becomes a property. Remember, we messed around with lumetri color to change the brightness, and you can see that lumetri color is here. And if I actually disable this, just have a look here. It's going to remove all those effects. You see, so this is what the change the lumetri color had made on the video, okay? And now Ultra Key has also come here. But right now, if I hide it, nothing is happening because we've not done anything with this, okay? So here's how things work. And don't worry if you get confused, don't worry, okay? First thing Premiere Pro is going to ask us is, okay, Kush, I know you've selected this because you want to remove the green screen, okay? So tell me, I'm giving you a dropper, point exactly to that spot so that I know that, yes, this is that green colored pixel that I need to remove from this video, okay? So we take this dropper, just click on it, and then you select anywhere on the green screen. And this is where it pays to have a evenly lit green screen. And remember, now I will keep coming back to that point. That's why I showed you that video in between. The muslin cloth versus the, that seamless paper. So yeah, can you see that with the muslin cloth, and especially in this budget lighting setup, it is even, but it's not 100% even, right? There are some areas which look more bright, and that's where the problem comes now, because just see, if I hit any random area, what should happen is, just see, now I'm going to select, let's say, this pixel. Now, can you see suddenly things became black? What does this mean? But some area is not fully black. So very simple way to understand. This is called as a mask. Okay, in this case, this is a chroma key mask. Now, what does mask mean in editing language? All it means is anytime you see black, that thing has been removed. Okay, anytime you see slightly brighter areas, those things have not been fully removed. So here, if we had, let's say I selected this part, right? If we had a green screen which was absolutely even everywhere, what do you think would have happened right now? The entire part of that green thing would have become black. That's the ideal scenario, because then you don't have to do anything else. Just one click and your job is done, and you can replace the background here, like I'll be showing you, which is a one-click process, okay? So that's not the tough part, but getting this black, basically making the background invisible is. Now, have we been able to achieve that here? Kind of, but not fully, right? We still have some areas which are not done, but remember, this is a budget setup, so we are also not spending money. There are some ways in here that we can kind of, hack our way out, okay? So I'm going to be showing you those also. But before I show you the hacks, what I always like to do is maybe try selecting a different area. Maybe something gives you more black, that means more deletion, then why not use that? So here your job is to kind of at least do this 3-4 times till the time you find that spot which is giving you the maximum deletion, maximum blackness, okay? So maybe let's try this. Can you see, like, maybe this is slightly better than the last time? And one bonus tip I can give you is I always like to select that part which gives me at least around the head, it's completely black. And you're going to see the reason for that later on. Because this part around the head is a bit tricky, especially if you have a weird hair like me, okay? Or if you're not bald. Like, for bald people, this is fine. But if you've got hair and you've got complex hair like this with weird spikes and all these things, it is kind of important, because with those hacks that I showed you, if this part is not deleted properly, those hacks will still work, but they do eat up a bit of your hair, okay? So you're going to see that later on. But point is, I like to kind of pay attention to that. So maybe let me just do that one more time. Sometimes I even like to kind of go for these little hidden areas in the gaps like this. No, this is not working. So you can see, right? This is done exactly the opposite. Now, this is something you want to avoid. It has a lot of blackness, but in that head area, no. You got to select something else. The earlier ones were better. So maybe let's give it one more go, okay? Let's select something right here. All right, I think this is fine, or in my opinion, let's just try once more. So can you see that we are paying right now the price of having a budget set, right? If we had spent more money getting a paper backdrop, which would be more even, right now we would be slightly more relaxed. That's how things work in the creative world. You spend your money somewhere, you suffer somewhere else, right? So all these things balance out, right? Ultimately, but it's okay. So that's how we learn, okay? Again, let me just still looking for that. Fine. I think this is okay. Around my head is fine. But then what do we do next? Because right now, if I was to put some image underneath this, remember this part is deleted, that image would show through, but these parts will still show a bit of green. We don't want that. We want this to be completely black. So here under Ultra key, we have done our first job, which is we have told the eyedropper, this is the part. So quick, this is what I can do for you straight away without any other setting being changed. But then what we do the first is under setting itself, right now, we have like this thing which says to Adobe, increase the potency of what we've just done. That means I want you to kind of even go more than this. It's okay if you take more shades of what I had selected with the eyedropper. So here, what I can do is instead of default, I can actually tell Adobe, listen, go aggressive. I'm giving you the rights. So just see, the moment I hit aggressive, what happens? You see now we get more black here, okay? Finally, there's one more hack up your sleeve, okay? Which is if you go under this matte generations thing, okay? And this is where I told you, remember that I don't explain, you need to learn everything, that what exactly are these things, and don't worry, just do it. That's even how I learned. Sometimes it's okay to mug up things, okay? So here, there's this setting under matte generation called pedestal, and just see, right now it's set to 50, but if I increase it all the way to 100, pretty much starts to get the job done. Now we just have this much. And can you see? So pedestal is one setting, okay, which you think of it, it's a very friendly setting. That means even if you push this up, it's like aggressive plus aggressive, but it doesn't eat up anything. It doesn't harm the subject in any way. So that's why we can afford to go all the way to 100. Because these other settings will also further help us do the job. But as you're going to learn, these settings, the 4 settings that you see here, are not so friendly. They will start to eat up things like hair and all these things. Okay, so now is the point where we need to be very careful. And even after I do this, that means we've done 2 changes, which is setting we made to aggressive, okay? And then because we increase pedestal, it changes it to custom, but that's okay. But at this point, I also like to now, with these things selected, maybe try some more areas. Maybe now I know that, yes, it's set to its most aggressive. Can I get something even better, okay? Like, for example, can you see? The moment I clicked somewhere here, I think this is definitely better than what we had last time. And remember, I wouldn't need to do all this if I had a more even green screen. That's why I'm actually planning to buy a chroma key paper, which I'll be showing you later, okay? So that I don't have to do so many things here. But you should know it. You should know all these things. It's very, very important, okay? So even if it's taking time, I don't mind explaining this. So I think this is giving us the maximum result. All we need to now do is get rid of a bit of this. We don't even need to get rid of these things that you're seeing here, because ultimately there's one more hack that is up our sleeve, which is we'll actually be cropping this video in such a way that we only keep this part. Can you see, like near the table? So we won't be keeping these extreme parts where you see these bad things. So as long as maybe here, we can just get rid of this brightness that we're seeing. Just make it closer. This part near the camera, that's more than enough. And that's going to happen by changing either the shadow or the highlight, okay? Usually is the shadow. So what I like to do is, I just like to first of all play around with shadow, but here you have to be careful because it is going to mess up a bit of your body, okay? It's just very little. Right now it's set to 55. We're only seeing this. We just want this part to go away, okay? Just become black. So let's see. First, let's just drag it to see, yeah, it is making a change, right? So you can see. Can you see now? Just pay attention to that. First, the camera on the left, to your left right now, okay? Like this one. Just see what happens when I mess up with shadow too much. Just see. You see? It starts to eat away that thing. So maybe I can get away with this much. Doesn't have to be perfect. And it did eat up also a bit of my hair. That's all right. Remember, this is a budget setup, okay? Then next thing I like to do is play around with the highlights if this can help us. But usually if shadows has worked this well, highlights don't work. So this is basically, again, just talking about the, the illumination. So sometimes it can just help us increase or decrease the tolerance. So this much would have been ideal actually, but we don't need the most extreme part. So something like this is fine. There's probably going to be a bit of gap here. That's okay. I'm not always going for perfection, but I think 52 was fine. I don't mind this much, okay? So even if you have some bright spots remaining like this, as long as not showing the actual green color, is still okay. It's still okay, all right? The final hack that you can have here is to actually change these things again on the video. Maybe play around a bit with that, because that is also going to affect how the ultra key sees the tolerance of that eyedropper pixel that you selected. So because this is all also, remember, changing the look of the video, right? So you can see here, if I was to remember, we increase the highlights. Can you see? This also affects us. So maybe at this point, I had selected 30 earlier, near 30. Maybe I just want a bit more. Can you see? Increasing the highlights is helping us. Sometimes you can just play around with this also. But not too much, because that's also going to change the look of your video. So maybe I can go up till 37. Maybe. I don't mind this much. So this is fine.